So, hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday edition of Brunch with Boston Buddies. And today we have special guest, two-time Boston Marathon winner, and also Olympic athlete as well, competing for the UK, Geoff Smith. Hey, welcome, Geoff. How are you?
I'm good, Vince. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good. You're coming from us from cloudy Liverpool, cloudy Liverpool. You get to
No, it's not. It's warmer than Ibiza. It's warmer than Spain here right now.
Nice.
70 degrees. Sunny.
How close?
Sitting in the garden having a few beers.
Oh yeah, you've got your Stella right there. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
How close are you to Abbey Road and the where the Beatles were?
Abbey Road is in London. That's
okay.
That's not. That was a cover for an LP, but they lived in Liverpool. So Ringo went to my elementary school.
Really?
Yeah. The Beatles is about 3 miles away. Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Okay.
Town is about 4 miles away from the Cavern. Not around, you want to be the Beatles, I'm the man.
Did you know Ringo?
No.
Oh, okay.
Man, he's 10 years older than me. When
the same town, you never know.
I don't look that old.
Was he a runner? Yeah. So thanks for joining us. I wanted to first check in, let people know how you're doing over there. We were chatting a little bit before this.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I've been running daily, running on the grass, running in the on the trails. About a week ago, I slipped and tweaked my hip, so okay. I'm walking right now, so I'm enjoying myself, getting out.
That's good. Running is not.
As you get older, it takes longer to recover from little falls.
Yeah. But running is not banned yet. You can get out. And
we're on a lockdown. You're allowed to go out once a day to exercise.
Okay.
You're allowed to go out for groceries, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Social distancing. You can't go with anybody outside of your household.
Okay.
You've got to keep 6 feet apart.
Yep.
So I've been going into the park and staying on the grass, running on the trails, which avoids most of the people that are out there walking, exercising.
Okay. Yeah, that's the same as here. Basically, just stay away from each other. Pennsylvania, they just implemented you have to wear a mask if you go outside. That's really the only change. But yeah, it keeps you safe. It's what it is. We've got people on our page actually making masks for other people, which is nice, and mailing them out, which is nice. Yeah. So yeah, I guess maybe one thing that we always ask people to do is give their intro and why they started running. Do you know what actually was the first time you ran, and like what made you want to be a runner?
I really didn't want to be a runner.
Okay.
I played soccer as a kid.
Okay.
We had to run in PE at school, and I always done it. I was never one to shy away.
Okay.
So when we ran, I ran, and I always won.
Okay.
But I played soccer. Played 4 soccer games a week. After I left school at 16. Joined the fire department. I played when I graduated at 18. I played on Wednesdays for the fire brigade. I played on Thursdays for the fire brigade. I played on Saturday for a Saturday team. I played on Sunday for a Sunday team. Didn't leave much time for anything else,
Yep.
Always the athlete.
Right.
And
Lots of
through the fire brigade, they used to have a cross country team, so I ran out on the cross country team whenever I could.
Okay.
And I used to finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. About 74, 75, they decided to take a team to Paris.
Okay.
to the International Firemen's Cross Country Championships. And you have to be in the first 6. So I said, oh, that sounds like a good trip. Always ready for a good trip. So I trained every day for 6 weeks for the trial race.
Uh-huh.
I won the trial race. Turned up to go to Paris with my case of beer. Got to Paris. I won in Paris. And I liked the attention. And from that point on, I was a runner.
Wow, that's what it was. It was a firefighters like group that really got you. That got you into it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And it didn't take you long to become professional because you ran in the Olympics in 1980. So that's
virtually. I started running around about 74, 75. 76. I was just playing around with it. Still in 76. Actually, I was in Vegas in 1976.
Wow.
With my cousin. I'd gone out to see my cousins in LA.
Okay.
And we went to Vegas. But I ran a few races when I was there for that 1 month in the States. Then I came back here, and it sort of took off. You know, I ran like my first 10,000 meters on the track. And I ran 29:20. I got a coach.
Wow.
I got a coach.
Uh-huh.
And we sat down and we planned out a strategy to make the Olympics in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I needed to take 30 seconds off a year off my 10,000 meter time. And bingo, we done it. You know, the next year I ran 28:54, something like that. Then the next year I ran like 28:34. Then the next year I ran 28:02.
Wow, that's impressive. What do you attribute getting that speed from? Like, what kind of, is there a specific workout or just hard work?
I was lucky enough to run with Liverpool Harriers, and they had a great group of older guys that really not that old. You know, I used to think they were old, but right now they're 74, 73, 74, 75. And we're still going out walking now.
Okay.
But without them and their guidance, I would have been pretty much sunk.
Okay.
Going out, my philosophy when I started was I'd go out the door and I'd run like hell for 5 miles.
Okay.
So it would be just one long effort to come back, and that would be it.
No easy runs. Just go ahead.
No easy runs. Everything was hard.
Okay.
But I was doing, you know, but you got to remember, I was also working. I was a firefighter.
Uh-huh.
And I was working 56 hours a week.
Right.
So, you know, I was doing days and nights.
And when did you graduate to the marathon then? Because you were doing 10,000 meters for the Olympics.
I ran my first marathon in 83.
Okay. Was that New York? Because you ran New York in 83, right?
New York.
That was your first marathon?
That was my first marathon. That was the fastest first time marathon ever.
Right, because you came in second overall, right?
Yeah.
But you were, I remember when we ran together a couple of years ago, you were talking about that story, about how they made you run on a line or something in Central Park.
No, I ran Central Park. Oh God, half a dozen times before. And when you get into Central Park for a regular race, you know, 10Ks or the 10 miler, you had to stay within the blue line. Right. You couldn't go outside of the blue line.
Yep.
And when I got into the park, I was tired, I was hurting, and I had a good lead. And instead of cutting the tangents, I stayed within the blue line. I cut the tangents inside of the blue line, but I didn't cut them outside of the blue line. So, like, you know, I was running an extra 20 yards every time we went round the bend.
Mm-hmm. That makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it cost me a victory.
Great.
It was a good learning experience.
It was a 209, 209.08 that year.
Yes.
That was, and what was the winning time? It must have been pretty close.
He passed me at 26 miles.
Ugh.
It was he ran 2:08:59.
9 seconds. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's impressive. That was your first. Like, how do you,
Yeah.
how do you go from 10,000 meters to a marathon and in New York be the first one? That's crazy. Because then
Prior to that, I'd done one half marathon and about 3 or 4, maybe 3 or 4 10-milers.
That's it. And that was it. You're training, like, you didn't do like 20-mile training runs or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I done 20-mile training runs. You wouldn't want to run those 20-mile training runs.
Now,
They were fast.
Would you go all out for them?
They were sub 5-minute pace
For 20 miles. Wow. Okay. And your coach,
with efforts. With efforts.
Did you have a coach that was telling you to do this, or you just did it?
I had my coach in England. In England, yes.
Okay. And that was the philosophy: just go out, all out every time.
Well, it wasn't. It was like a fartlek. You go out. I do sprints at the beginning, do hill efforts, recover, do 2-mile as fast as 2-mile hard efforts. I mean, like it was, but the total overall time was some 5-minute pace.
Right. That's wow.
So like you're going up and down, and it was good.
Yeah. And then it didn't take you long then to get to Boston, because you did Boston the next year, right? 84. And that was your first win in 84.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Well, Boston in 84 was an Olympic year, and I had a choice. I quit my job as a fireman and come out to America to go to college. So I was at Providence College, and the Olympic trials England didn't have an Olympic trials per se, but most of the English runners were all running London the following week. And I'm coming up to the end of my 4 years, and I've got exams coming up. Well, I didn't want to waste 4 years and blow them away by skipping my exams.
Right.
So I told the British that I'll run a marathon. I had the fastest time. I was the British record holder from New York, because that was a British record at the time. So I told him I would run Boston. So Boston was my Olympic trial.
It's a harder course too.
A lot harder than London.
Yeah.
The whole race, obviously the Americans were all getting ready for their Olympic trial, so all the top Americans didn't come. There was a few good foreign athletes.
Right.
But they weren't ready for what I was prepared to do.
Yeah, you were.
I was there to run fast.
Right.
And it was cold, windy. It was like it was, like 2 years ago when they had the cold and wind. Maybe not as bad as that, but very close to that. It was freezing. And I ran into a headwind the whole way, and I ran 2:10. Very relaxed. And I got over Heartbreak Hill. I just I eased back a little bit and just ran comfortable to the finish.
Right. Yeah, that was a big year. But you also ran the Olympics that summer, and you ran Chicago too, right?
Well, the Olympics turned up most probably April. End of it, May, beginning of June, I got a abscess in my tooth.
Okay.
So I had to go to the dentist and have an extraction.
Okay.
And that was, I think it was the beginning of June. You don't think anything of it. and even afterwards, the doctor said, told me that it affected me. I went to the Olympics. I was in incredible shape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was running like 138, 140 for 20 miles.
Wow.
Comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of the guys off the track team at Providence who was a 20, high 23, mid 23, 5-mile runner.
Okay.
He joined me at the end of my 20 miles to run the last 5-mile with me.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't stay with me.
Okay.
So, I was in incredible shape. I went out to LA, or I went out to the training camp in Point Loma College, San Diego. Had a great build up. I was on the track, flying. Everything was spot on. I said, I'm ready.
Yep.
I went into the Olympic Village the week before the race. Well, I flew in on Monday, and the race was the following Sunday, I think.
Okay.
I got up on Tuesday morning, and I had strep throat. I ended up, I was on antibiotics, feeling like crap. Stood on the line at the Olympics, not feeling great, looking at everybody saying, God, I hope you all feel as bad as I do. And if you look at the video, I'm there with them at just under 10 miles. I'm there with them at 15K. I'm still with the leaders. And then after 15K, I was done. At the half marathon, I sat down. I just had nothing left.
Yeah.
And then I came back. It's a down period. I'm no different than anybody else. Like when you're upset.
Yeah.
I went out and just jogged. I didn't do anything hard. I had no intention of really running. And I was trying to get into New York, to go back to New York, because that was 84. I'd finished second the year before, and they didn't want to bring me in.
Really?
No.
What was the reason?
They didn't want to pay me.
Oh, okay.
And at that point in time, we were all getting paid.
Yeah.
So I went to Chicago.
Okay.
And I was with the leaders in Chicago all the way. I got tripped over. I think it was Joseph Nassau tripped me up at around about 19 miles.
Okay.
And my friend Stevie Jones picked me up off the ground.
Oh, wow.
And he went on to win the race in about 2:08, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you were.
I ran 2:10.
You were fifth, but that was, you would run Boston. You had trained for the Olympics and you ran it, and not too many people ran all those races in 1 year, especially professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you came back only 6 months later and ran Boston again and won it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went out at a pace.
That was me being bloody minded. I wanted to show the world that I could do something, and I believed I could do it. I trained hard enough to do it. And the weather didn't cooperate. If on a perfect day, I would have broke the world record, but it wasn't a perfect day. It was high 80s or mid 80s.
Yeah.
It was a very hot day, and I went out at world record pace solo. I think I went through the half in about 62 and a half minutes.
Wow.
And even after I'd cramped up on Heartbreak Hill, I was still like 9 seconds ahead at 20 miles of the world record.
Right. Yeah, you had even slowed up a little bit, and you were still ahead of the record. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just managed to get to the finish. If you think about it, I ran 62 and a half for the first half, and I finished with 2:14 and a half.
Okay. So you still did a what, a 112, is that?
I ran 114. 214.
That's incredible.
214.30.
Right. That's incredible. It's back-to-back wins. That's just, it's very hard to do these days. But I mean, you weren't done yet either. Like, you came back a few other times after that. You were third in 87. And then in 90. So that's, 6 years later, you still came in seventh. So that's impressive, top 10 lists. You got 4 top 10s in Boston over a 6-year period. That's impressive.
And then 1 year I had mono. Still ran 216.
Yeah. It sounds like you need a good doctor around you or something.
Well, we all got sick back then,
Yeah. And then I guess I read in your bio too, in 1990, did you have double hip replacement surgery?
I didn't have double. I fell in about 1990, 91. I can't remember now, so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in great shape because I ran the day before I fell, I'd ran 16 quarters at like 60 with a minute recovery. I was in great shape.
Uh-huh.
My weight was perfect. I was down at about 135. I'd stopped running super long. I'd dropped my mileage down to about 85 miles a week. And I was feeling good. And I just slipped on the road, done the splits, and ripped everything in my groin.
Ouch.
And then when I went to the doctors, and I couldn't walk. I went to the doctors 2 days later, and they x-rayed it, and they said, I've got arthritis and I'll never run again.
Oh, wow.
It was bone on bone.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor said that I'd done what Bo Jackson had done when I fell.
Okay.
But my femur had pushed the bone, had gone right into the socket.
Okay.
And it was just bone on bone.
Ouch. And that was it.
And that was it.
Okay. But I've still seen you run because I ran with you.
Now I have 2 new hips and I run.
Okay.
But I don't train hard. I don't push myself.
Gotcha. What advice would you give to people that have had that surgery? Like, it's hard to come back from double. My brother-in-law had that, and he was only 40 when he had double hip surgery.
I was 46. Well, I didn't have double. I was 46 when the first one was done, and I was 56 when the second one was done.
And they were hip replacements?
Yes, full replacements.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that's
my advice to anybody is take advice from the doctor. Don't right after the surgery, take it easy. Give it 1, 2, 3 years. Let it become part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can exercise, walk, a little bit of slow jogging, but don't go crazy. And let it become part of you, and then you can start to think about it. But it's not something you want to do. I don't want to go through that surgery again.
Right.
My first hip is over 20 years old now. It's past the use days.
And the warranty's up.
Yeah. So but it's good. My second hip is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I take care of them, they'll take care of me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do the surgery again.
Okay. But you're still out there running, you're out there at least being active and running a couple times a week or so.
Yeah, I know that I can jump into a half marathon.
Yeah.
I could jump in. I haven't jumped into a marathon, but I know I could do one.
Yeah. Well,
it's in here.
Just a couple of years ago, yeah, you did the Hop 21 with us. You made it all 21. I remember I stopped and got an Uber to the finish, but you kept going.
I was going to run Boston that year, I think.
Yeah, with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are your kids? Do they still run? Because they were both. There was 2 of them running that year, right?
My daughter ran Berlin last year and ran 4:02.
Okay.
She's hoping to run Chicago this year.
Okay. Nice. Let's hope it happens. Yeah.
And my son, he was in Florida, escaping the virus.
Yeah.
You know,
The warm weather.
they moved out of Boston and rented a place in Florida till it's over.
Okay.
Working from Florida.
Yeah.
But he was complaining about having to go out last night to run. It was 84 degrees.
Well, at least he's allowed out. That's a good, it's all perspective. I had read too, there was an article from 2013. Were you near the finish in 2013 at Boston when the bombs went off?
No, we were sitting there till most probably half an hour before the bombs went off.
Okay.
We were in the pub, and I can't even remember what the name of the pub is now, but it had a number in it.
Okay.
Club 36 or something like that. I don't know, but it was way down on Tremont.
Okay.
And I remember going into the bathroom, and then the pub was like packed and super noisy. And then I come out the bathroom, and it was like you could drop a pin on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
There was no noise, and the place was jam packed.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the bomb had gone off.
Right. Just watching on the TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a strange, very strange experience. Almost kind of like now. It's like it's surreal.
Yeah.
You walk out into the streets and nobody's out there.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to keep yourself busy? I know you organize a couple of races a year. You sell medals, you sell shirts and stuff too, right? For races.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of beautiful races in Mattapoisett. Mattapoisett is on Buzzards Bay, right across from Falmouth. It's a 10-miler in November.
Okay.
And it's Veterans Weekend.
Okay.
And hopefully, I haven't. I'm waiting and seeing what's happening before I open up the page, because I don't want people to sign up and then have to cancel.
Right.
So, we've still got plenty of time to set that up, but it's a fantastic course, 10 miles, beautiful coastal run.
Okay.
And the good thing is you can do a 5K beforehand, then come back and do the 10 miler. So you've got a half marathon.
Nice.
In 2 events.
So you have a 5K and a 10K, and then you were talking about the medals.
And then I have a Christmas race, in Mattapoisett. It's a 5-mile Santa race.
Okay.
I used to have it in New Bedford, but numbers have dropped, and so I've moved it to beautiful Mattapoisett, beautiful little seaside town.
Mm-hmm.
Start and finish on the water, fantastic place.
Awesome. Well,
and that's usually in December.
You've got almost 11,000 runners that run Boston that are listening to you. So yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll all come. There's race directors out there. My biggest thing now is I'm selling medals for races. I'm selling T-shirts for races. So give me a call, message me.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
I do the race. I'm doing actually virtual races are really big right now.
Yep, we just did one this weekend. Yeah.
And I'm doing just miles for the community.
Okay.
And let me just get you I got to look at the website because I'm getting old and I can't remember stuff. And besides that, I've been drinking all afternoon.
Yeah, it's 5:30 there, so it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, it's 5. Well, it's always noon somewhere.
Right.
And you can always say, the sun always shines on the British Empire.
Right. We had a virtual race this weekend because once they postponed Boston, our group rallied around and basically we did a virtual run. You could run any distance, but it was called a Moley Mile. And the only thing you had to do was run your last mile your fastest, and that was it.
Yeah. No, I'm looking for the website.
Okay. And then we're potentially going to be doing a race from coast to coast. It's in the planning stages right now. We're trying to gain interest to see if people want to run from California to Boston and pass a baton. It's almost virus proof because there's no crowd. It's 1 or 2 people at a time.
Yeah,
we'll see. So yeah, if you come back over to the States in the fall, maybe you can join us for our cross.
Oh, I'll be back. Hopefully, I'm hoping to be back in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
You know, I'm figuring that this will all be over by June. I'm hoping that, you know, normality will start to come out.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope.
And I can get back, you know.
Do you keep residence in both places? Because I see.
Yes, I have my house in Mattapoisett and I have a house here in Liverpool.
Nice.
Yeah, this is milesformycommunity.com.
Miles for my community. Okay.
And it's through a RaceWire.
Okay.
You know, they've got a lot of good charities that they're going to promote.
Okay.
And donate to across the country.
Okay.
And their goal is to make it the biggest virtual race in the world. You know, if they can get 100,000 people running this virtual race and post into their site, you know, and I'll put all the information up on the webpage.
Okay, but this is your race.
No, I'm just involved with RaceWire to put it on. They called me up and asked me if I would be interested in doing it.
Okay.
And I said, at the time, I said yes. And then the next day I fall over. You know, there's a simple course when don't ask me to run a race the week in advance. Sort of spring it on me, because usually if I plan something, I get hurt.
Okay, but this one's virtual. So what is
this? This is a virtual race. They want everybody to run solo, post their times. It's a half marathon, or it's a 4 miles. It's anything you want it to be.
Okay, they're trying. It looks like they're trying to get to 500,000 miles.
Yeah.
Fine.
So
okay.
What I'll do is I'll put all the information on the post.
Okay.
On the site, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Promote whatever you want. I appreciate you taking the time to join us. So I did have a question from the audience, actually. Do you remember Chris Ann?
Yes.
Chris Ann, she has a question for you.
All right.
Chris Ann Kane. She ran with us when we did.
The Hop 21.
21. I thought that was a funny day because I remember we were running it and you said that was the longest you ever ran in your life. And it wasn't distance-wise long, it was time-wise long. That was the longest you ever ran.
Yeah. It was a 3.5 hours.
Yeah, we were out. It was a long day. And then we went to the pub and it was a lot longer.
Yes.
So she says, question for Geoff. You've had some bad luck with injuries and illness back in the day. If you could go back in time, what race would you want to do over again if given the chance?
What race would I want to do over again? New York.
that New York in 1983. Yeah.
Yeah.
And run the run the tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question there, Chris Ann. I'm just looking through the list here. Natalie Dorset. I don't know. Natalie Dorset's from New York.
I remember Natalie. How you doing, Natalie?
Yeah. She says hello. We've got a lot of people watching right now, actually. Regina Orelli, I don't know if you remember Regina. She's another New Yorker. A lot of New Yorkers. Yeah, she was there. They're all saying hello. That was just a great day. I remember, you were so kind and on that run, even though it took 3.5 hours. I think you probably spent an hour shaking hands and talking to people because everybody wanted to stop you. And
yeah, it was nice to stop.
Right.
Yeah, like I like now. I go out, I take pictures. Every time I take a picture, I stop, so it's great.
Right. That's what Gene Dykes does on his long runs, his 100-milers. He takes pictures and takes breaks and takes pictures. It's incredible. What are you planning on coming to Boston this year? You think you'll be there in September?
You think it's going to happen?
As of now, I'm still hoping.
Well, they just canceled Berlin, which is September the 1st.
Yeah. Well,
we've got about 80, 90 days.
20 weeks from this weekend, so whatever that comes to. Yeah, we've got a decent amount of time, about 5 months. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We're all counting on it. We're gonna start training. So
yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, we'll do it virtual again. We'll see.
Well, you'll do it next year.
Yeah, exactly. So all we can do is hope and be positive about it. Anything else that you might want to bring up while you've got everybody's attention? Any words of wisdom?
As I'm getting older, I look at the training, and there's two types of training, I think. The guys that you see at the front that are hammering it, and they've got to do the work. They're full-time professionals, but as you get older, or you're out there and you're working for a living, you've got to be more selective on how you train. It's not about distance, it's about quality.
Right.
And it's about rest. Quality and rest is more important than major distance.
Right.
That would be my my biggest thing to everybody.
That's good advice.
Don't go crazy.
Yeah, we had Jeff Galloway on last week, and that was basically the same thing he was saying. Make sure you give your body time to rest in between those workouts.
And that's what I look at now, and I see these people, and I said, there's no way they can rest. You can't do that work and recover.
Right. It catches up to you eventually. Yeah. Well, that's good advice. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with everybody here. And again, we'll be potentially signing up for that virtual race that you got there, and then maybe seeing you at the 10-miler in the fall. Hopefully in the fall, we get to see you at that 10-miler and the Christmas race.
Yeah, be great.
Awesome. All right, well, be safe over there. And
thanks, Vince.
Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for talking me through my unknown technology.
No problem. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Bye-bye.
See you now.